Day after day, the same thing over and over. Seriously, it's pathetic. This whole world is rotting. In a high school classroom, a brilliant student named Light Yagami looks out the window, bored with his life, bored with the world around him. And then he sees it. A black notebook falling from the sky. What if one day you found a notebook that could kill anyone whose name you wrote inside? This isn't just a story. Day after day, he sees the same headlines, the same crimes, the same decay. In his own words, this world is rotting. Then, one day, a black notebook falls from the sky. On its cover, 2 words, Death Note. The first rule is chillingly simple. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. Light scoffs, dismissing it as an elaborate prank, a chain letter. But the thought lingers. What if it's real? You can specify a cause of death within 40 seconds. Otherwise, it's a heart attack. You even have 6 minutes and 40 seconds to write the details. A prank this detailed is unsettling. Inside, the first rule is chillingly simple. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. Light scoffs at it. Pathetic, he thinks. Truly, people are sick. This hasn't progressed at all since the days of chain letters. He almost dismisses it as a dumb prank. The rules are elaborate, though. The writer must have the person's face in their mind. A cause of death can be specified within 40 seconds. Otherwise, it's a heart attack. Details can be added within the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds. For a prank, this is pretty elaborate, he muses. He takes it home, still skeptical. But a dark thought crosses his mind. Wait, in the unlikely event someone actually dies, would I be a murderer? No way. That's impossible. Later that evening, a news report catches his attention. A spree killer has taken a nursery school hostage. The police have the suspect cornered, a man named Kuro Otoharada. Light looks at the notebook. He looks at the television, at the face of the killer. With a trembling hand, he writes the name. Kuro Otoharada. He waits. 40 seconds. Nothing. As I thought, he sighs. Nothing's happening. But then, the reporter's voice cuts through the air. The tactical squad storms the building. Then, chaos. The suspect is dead inside the nursery school. The suspect is confirmed dead. The reporter is stunned. The police emphasize they didn't shoot him. A heart attack. Light is frozen. No, he whispers. It's a coincidence. It has to be. He needs to test it again. One more time to be sure. But who? It has to be a criminal. Someone whose death would be reported quickly. A coincidence. It has to be. But he needs to be sure. Walking home from cram school, he sees a group of bikers harassing a young woman. The leader, Takuo Shibiamaru, is aggressive, cornering her. Light watches from a distance, disgusted. This is his chance. He opens the notebook and writes the name, Takuo Shibiamaru. Then, under cause of death, he writes, traffic accident. He watches. A few moments later, the woman breaks free and runs into the street. Takuo chases after her, right into the path of an oncoming truck. A screech of tires, a sickening crash. The news report on a public screen confirms it. Takuo Shibiamaru is dead. Light's face is pale, but his eyes burn with a new certainty. It's settled. The death note is real. 5 days pass. Light has been busy. In the solitude of his room, he's filled page after page with the names of the world's worst criminals. He's just finished his homework when a voice, deep and gravelly, speaks from the corner of his room. A monstrous figure looms in the shadows, tall, gangly, with a terrifying grin. This is Ryuk, a Shinigami, a god of death, and the original owner of the notebook. He's impressed. No human he's heard of has used the note so much, so quickly. Light, however, is prepared. He asks what the price is. Does Ryuk want his soul? Ryuk laughs. There's no price like that. The notebook now belongs to Light. The only catch? The user of a death note can go to neither heaven nor hell. And when Light dies, it will be Ryuk who writes his name down. That's all. Ryuk explains he dropped the note on purpose. Why? Because he was bored. Life in the Shinigami realm is dull. He thought dropping a death note into the human world would be entertaining. He didn't choose Light specifically. Light just happened to be the one who picked it up. As Ryuk munches on an apple, absolutely fascinated by how juicy it is, he asks Light a question. Why are you doing this? What's the point? Light's expression hardens. Because I was bored, too. He explains his grand plan. He started with the worst criminals, but he's gradually wiping out all evil. Soon, the world will know that someone is passing righteous judgment. He will create a new world, a perfect world, inhabited only by good, kind-hearted people. Ryuk points out the flaw in his logic. If you do that, you'll be the only one left with a bad personality. But Light's conviction is absolute. What are you saying, Ryuk? I'm a serious honor student, the top in Japan, and I will become the god of this new world. In the darkened room, with a god of death as his only witness, a high school boy has declared war on the world's evil. Ryuk just grins. Humans are so interesting after all, his eyes burning with conviction. This single notebook has just set in motion a chain of events that will shake the very foundations of the world. As Light, now secretly known as Kira, begins his crusade, the world takes notice. His methods are swift and brutal. Criminals across the globe start dropping dead from sudden, inexplicable heart attacks. The sheer scale of it is staggering. A news reporter's voice fills the airwaves, echoing the global confusion. Over 100 criminals have died of sudden heart attacks this week. Interpol is baffled. Law enforcement agencies are in chaos. Inside police headquarters, the atmosphere is electric with tension. Officers shout, debating the nature of this unseen killer. Is this divine retribution, or something far more sinister? The police chief, overwhelmed and desperate, voices their collective fear. Is this justice, or a meticulously planned massacre? They realize they are out of their depth. They need a specialist, a mind as brilliant and unconventional as the killer they're hunting. They need the one person who has solved every unsolvable case thrown his way. They need L. The stage is now set for a battle of wits unlike any other. On one side, a young man with a god complex and a supernatural weapon. On the other, the world's greatest detective, shrouded in mystery. While the world scrambles for answers, Light Yagami lives a double life. By day, he's the perfect student, the dutiful son. But by night, he is Kira, the world's most prolific killer, operating from the supposed safety of his bedroom. He's built an intricate system of deception, including a secret mechanical compartment in his desk drawer, designed to hide the death note from any prying eyes. He knows the danger he's in. I'm walking a tightrope, he thinks to himself, feeling the immense pressure. One mistake and everything burns. But the risk doesn't deter him. His vision of a perfect world is too powerful. But I won't stop until the world is cleansed, he vows. Yet, Light is not entirely alone in his room. A grotesque, towering figure often hovers behind him, invisible to everyone else. The hunt for Kira goes global, and L, the enigmatic detective, decides it's time to make his first move. He devises a brilliant, high-stakes trap to smoke Kira out. The world's television broadcasts are suddenly hijacked. A stark, black screen with a single Gothic letter L appears. A voice, supposedly L's, speaks directly to the killer. I am L, to the perpetrator of these serial killings, whom the public has dubbed Kira. What you are doing is evil. The message is a direct challenge, a public condemnation. Millions watch, but this message is for an audience of one. In his room, Light Yagami watches the broadcast, his calm facade shattering. The accusation enrages him. He sees himself as a savior, a purveyor of true justice. I am evil? He seethes, his eyes glowing with a cold fury as he glares at the screen. To him, L is just another obstacle, another piece of the rotten world he intends to erase. In his mind, there is no debate. He clenches his fist, his voice a low, dangerous whisper. No, I am justice. Blinded by his righteous fury, Light walks right into L's trap. Believing the man on TV is the real L, he immediately reaches for the death note. He scoffs at the detective's audacity. This man, this Lind L. Taylor, has publicly revealed his face and name. For Kira, it's an easy kill. He furiously writes the name in the notebook, a triumphant smirk on his face. He watches the screen, counting down the seconds with chilling precision. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. Die. On live television, Lind L. Taylor clutches his chest and collapses. A moment of dead silence hangs in the air. Light believes he has won, that he has eliminated his greatest adversary in one swift move. But then the screen flickers again. The yell symbol returns, but this time there is only a voice, distorted and synthesized. That was a trap, Kira. The real L's voice cuts through the silence, calm and analytical. The man you just killed was a death row inmate scheduled for execution today? That was not me. The brilliance of the trap is revealed. I broadcast that message from a single region as a test, and you took the bait. Now I know you are in the Kanto region of Japan, and I know you can kill without being physically present. In a single move, L has drastically narrowed the search, turning Light's overconfidence into his biggest mistake. The game has truly begun. The first battle is over, and the lines have been drawn. Light Yagami, the aspiring god of a new world, has met his intellectual match in L, the faceless genius detective. Light's arrogance led him into a trap, revealing his location and a key aspect of his power. But this setback only fuels his determination. He's fighting an opponent who is just as intelligent, just as ruthless as he is. L, on the other hand, has confirmed his suspicions and has a solid lead. He knows Kira is real. He's in Japan, and he's a cunning individual who believes he is justice itself. The conflict has escalated from a one-sided massacre to a direct, personal war between two brilliant minds. Their ideologies clash head-on. Or is murder, no matter the victim, always an act of evil? This is the core of their struggle. A split screen shows us the two adversaries. On one side, the determined face of Light Yagami. On the other, the stark, simple letter SO that represents his nemesis. Their thoughts, their goals, their declarations merge into a single, chilling promise that echoes across the divide between them. In unison, their voices declare their ultimate mission. I will find you. I will finish you, because I am justice. This is more than a cat-and-mouse game. It's a divine confrontation that will decide the fate of the world. The timing is just too consistent. It's almost predictable. 68% of the deaths occur after school hours, primarily between 8 p.m. and midnight. This isn't random. It's a pattern, a routine. This isn't the work of a seasoned criminal syndicate or a political extremist. This is something else entirely. Kira, you're a student, aren't you? A student with a god complex, playing with life and death based on a childish, black-and-white sense of justice. You think you're cleansing the world, but you're just a kid who found a weapon too powerful for anyone to handle. We're risking our lives against a supernatural killer, a ghost who can kill with a name and a face. What are we supposed to do? This L character, he won't even show his face. He sits behind a screen, protected by anonymity, while we're out on the streets with our badges and our ID photos plastered everywhere. We're the real targets, We have families. I can't do this. I resign. Stay calm. Everyone, just stay calm. I understand your fear. We are all afraid. But giving up is exactly what Kira wants. He wants to dismantle the very system that stands against him. We cannot let that happen. Our duty is to protect the public, even when the threat is something we don't understand. Any information, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant it seems, must be reported. Every detail could be the key to cracking this case. Do not let fear paralyze you. We are the last line of defense. The police think they're catching up. They think they've got me figured out. Owl believes I'm a student because of the timing of the deaths. How predictable. He's analyzing the data, looking for patterns, but he's only seeing the surface. He's smart. I'll give him that. But his logic is his weakness. He relies too much on what he can prove. Fine. If he thinks I'm a student, I'll show him just how wrong he is. I'll manipulate the time of death, make the killings happen during school hours, at all hours of the day. I will create so much noise in his data that he won't know what to believe. I'll make him doubt his own deductions. I'll make L doubt the very people he works with, sow discord within the investigation team itself. They're playing checkers while I'm playing chess. This world will be remade, and I will be its god. Light, someone is watching you. Look, over there. The guy in the beige trench coat. He's been following you since you left the station. This is getting interesting. I feel like I'm being watched too, and I don't like it. He's trying to be subtle, but to a Shinigami, he might as well be waving a giant flag. He's not Japanese, an outsider. Want to know who he is? I could find out for you. He seems pretty focused on you. So, L is already investigating the police. He doesn't trust them. He sent this foreign agent to tail the families of high-ranking officers. That's a bold move. It means he suspects someone on the inside. He's getting closer. But he's also revealing his hand. A disposable piece L is using to test his theories, and every pawn has a name. All I need is his name. Once I find his name, I'll control his actions, and through him, I'll get to L, and then I'll erase him soon enough. This game is about to get much more interesting. You know, there's a big difference between us, Light. You see faces, you hear names on the news, and you scribble them down in that little book of yours. But me? I see something more. I see names and lifespans floating right above everyone's head. I know exactly when their time is up. It's a handy little trick, a power that comes with being a Shinigami. And I can give you this power. I can give you these Shinigami eyes. Imagine it. No more guesswork, no more needing to find a name. You could just look at someone else, for instance, and his real name would be yours for the taking. Of course, a power like that doesn't come for free. Nothing ever does. There's a price. The cost? Half of your remaining life. Whatever time you have left, I take half of it. A simple transaction. Your life for the power to become an unstoppable god. Think about it. You could win this game right now. End it. So, do we have a deal, Kira? Your future for ultimate victory. What do you say? Ryuk, amused by Light's ambition, presents him with a tempting offer, the Shinigami eyes. With these eyes, Light could see the true name and remaining lifespan of any person he looks at, making his crusade infinitely easier. He would never have to guess or search for a name again. The price? Half of his remaining life. It's a deal that would grant him immense power, but at a terrible cost. Light, however, scoffs at the idea. He believes he can outsmart L and uncover his true name without such a desperate measure. He will find L's name his own way, preserving every second of the new world he intends to rule. Ryuk often reminisces about his own world, the Shinigami realm. He describes it as a rotten, desolate wasteland. It's a gray, lifeless expanse where his fellow Shinigami do nothing but gamble with skulls and wait for time to pass. They are immortal beings who have lost all purpose, living an aimless, eternal existence. Ryuk looks at Light, this mortal human filled with such ambition and ruthless determination, and remarks that Light is more of a Shinigami than any of them. But Light vehemently rejects this comparison. He doesn't see himself as a monster or a god of death. In his own mind, he is still human. A righteous individual using a terrible power for the ultimate good, to save humanity from itself. This is his justification, the moral foundation upon which he builds his new world. Meanwhile, Elle and the police task force are grappling with the terrifying scope of Kira's power. Light isn't just killing criminals. He's experimenting. He's testing the limits of the Death Note, exploring what he can control before a person dies. Chief Yagami, Light's own father, and the head of the investigation, reports disturbing findings. Inmates are exhibiting bizarre behavior just moments before their deaths. One scrawled a cryptic symbol on the wall with his own blood. Another left a strange, nonsensical message in a restroom. Elle listens, his sharp mind connecting the dots. Kira isn't just a killer. He's a scientist and a puppeteer. He's playing a game with human lives, not just to punish, but to understand and expand his abilities. This cold, detached cruelty confirms Elle's suspicion. Kira is a childish, arrogant individual who hates to lose. To lure out the FBI agents Elle has sent to Japan, Light devises a brilliant and terrifying plan. He arranges a date with a classmate and boards a specific bus, knowing he's being followed. As planned, the bus is hijacked. A desperate man, Kichiro Ozareda, pulls a gun, consumed by fear and paranoia. Panic erupts among the passengers. But Light remains perfectly calm, a silent observer in his own masterpiece. As the hijacker grows more frantic, a tall, well-dressed man stands up. It's Ray Penber, the FBI agent assigned to surveil the Yagami family. He announces his authority, attempting to control the situation. This is the moment Light has been waiting for. As the chaos unfolds, Light accidentally drops a small piece of the Death Note paper. The hijacker, in his frenzy, touches it. Suddenly, he starts screaming in pure terror, staring at something no one else can see. He's seeing Ryuk. This is a rule of the Death Note. Anyone who touches it can see its Shinigami owner. The hijacker, driven mad by the sight, flees the bus, only to be struck by a car, dying exactly as Light had written. The plan is unfolding perfectly. Ray Penber, stunned but relieved, shows his FBI credentials to Light to calm him down, unwittingly giving Light the final piece of the puzzle, his real name. With the bus incident concluded, Light's plan enters its final chilling phase. He had orchestrated the entire event, from the timing to the hijacker's actions, all to get Ray Penber's name. Light glances at his watch. The time is 11:45 a.m. He has used Ray Penber as a pawn to kill all the other FBI agents in Japan. Light pictures the agent, helpless, writing the names of his colleagues on a piece of the Death Note. Before succumbing to a heart attack himself. Checkmate. Light now holds the name and the power to eliminate the first major obstacle in his path. He has proven that his intellect is superior, that his will is absolute. The invisible war has claimed its first casualties, and Light Yagami stands victorious, one step closer to becoming the undisputed god of his new world. The intellectual duel between Light Yagami and the FBI agent, Ray Penber, from Death Note. This isn't just a scene. It's a masterclass in psychological warfare that cements Light's descent from a self-proclaimed god of justice into a cold-blooded killer. The setup is brilliant. Following the bus hijacking, Light, ever the meticulous planner, doesn't act immediately. He understands that killing Ray Penber right after their encounter would be too suspicious. Instead, He bides his time, using criminals on death row to send cryptic messages to L, keeping him busy and creating a smokescreen. The messages like, "Hell, do you know? Shinigami eat only apples," are designed to confuse and misdirect, painting Kira as a supernatural entity beyond human comprehension. This period of waiting is crucial. It shows Light's patience and his calculated approach, turning the Death Note not just into a weapon, but an instrument for a grand, terrifying performance. And comes the moment of truth. Light chooses a crowded train station, a public yet anonymous setting, to spring his trap. This choice is deliberate. It showcases his audacity and control, demonstrating his power amidst a sea of oblivious people. He approaches Rei not with a physical weapon, but with his voice and knowledge. The chilling command, "If you turn around, I will kill you," establishes immediate dominance. To prove he is Kira, Light doesn't hesitate. He forces Rei to watch a man die, a small-time criminal who escaped justice. This act serves a dual purpose. It confirms Light's power and reinforces his twisted sense of justice in his own mind. He's not just a murderer. He's a righteous executioner. The true genius of Light's plan unfolds from here. He doesn't just want to kill Rei. He wants to use him. By threatening Rei as fiancée, a woman we later learn is the brilliant Naomi Misora. Light turns Rei's love and protective instincts into a weapon against him. He preys on the most human of vulnerabilities. The use of a simple toy transceiver is another masterstroke. It's untraceable, low-tech yet effective, ensuring no record of their conversation remains. Light has thought of everything. The climax of the trap is both horrifying and ingenious. Light provides Rei with a folder, ingeniously cut to act as a template. He then orchestrates a situation where Rei's superior is forced to send a file containing the names and faces of all FBI agents in Japan. Under duress, believing he is simply writing down names, Rei is unknowingly using a piece of the Death Note. He becomes the instrument of his own colleague's demise. Can you imagine the psychological horror? Without realizing it, Rei Penra writes the death warrants for his entire team, sealing his own fate in the process. It's a move that is devastatingly efficient and utterly cruel. As Rei finishes his grim task, Light delivers his final instructions. He tells Rei to leave the evidence on the train, ensuring his own hands remain clean. The final moments are haunting. As Rei steps off the train, his heart gives out, but just before he dies, the pieces click into place. In a flash of recognition, he sees Light standing on the platform. Light's cold reply, "Goodbye, Rei Penber," echoes his complete victory. The fallout is immediate and catastrophic. 12 FBI agents are dead. The FBI, terrified and outmaneuvered, pulls out of Japan completely. This single move not only eliminates a direct threat, but also sows deep mistrust within the Japanese task force. When they learn L used the FBI to spy on them, their faith in him shatters. Some resign, fearing for their lives. Kira is no longer just a killer of criminals. He's a force that will eliminate anyone who stands in his way. This event pushes the remaining investigators, including Light's own father, Soichiro Yagami, to a breaking point. Soichiro's dedication is tested, but he remains steadfast, a symbol of true justice in stark contrast to his son's warped vision. In a powerful scene, he vows to continue the fight, even at the risk of his own life. But the most significant consequence is L's reaction. Having lost his pawns and the trust of his allies, L is forced into a corner. He realizes that to catch Kira, he can no longer operate from the shadows. He makes a bold decision to reveal himself to the few remaining task force members he deems trustworthy. This marks a pivotal shift in the story. The game board is reset. L's declaration, "For the first time, I will appear in person as L," is a direct challenge to Light. The intellectual battle is about to become a face-to-face confrontation. The hunter is now also the bait. This entire sequence is a masterwork of suspense and character development. It demonstrates the depth of Light's intellect and the chilling extent of his ruthlessness. He doesn't just kill his enemies. He dismantles them, using their own strengths and emotions against them. It's what makes Death Note such a compelling and unforgettable story. The war between Light and L has truly begun. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into the world of anime.
You've already lost. Yeah.